what's happening? What's happening in your lovely little lives today? Is there a way that I can like not sound like a total asshole? I don't want to sound like an asshole. And I'm like, your little lives, like what? I don't have a little life, I have a big life. I mean, technically, I don't have a big life because like, I don't know nothing. I struggle to memorize things, just really. Right, so I was thinking, I want to get feedback on my channel because I want my channel to grow. I want to be successful. I want to do things good. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing right. And then I was thinking, but if I ask for feedback, I know my head. And as soon as I get it, I'm going to be like, shut up, shut up, shut up. Leave me alone. Don't tell me what to do. So I'm in a bit of a pickle because I want feedback of like, Nayna, you should do this, you should do that. But then also, I don't want feedback. I just want to be left alone, thank you. But because I have this personality, then I'm going to try to improve by just thinking about it on myself, by myself. But I do want to keep getting better and I will be trying to keep improving. And the more money I make, even though that's whatever, my set will become better. But for now, we're stuck here with these conversations with me like this, you know, and I'm gonna try to improve myself so I don't sound annoying and rude. I don't want to be rude. What I want to do is I want to influence every single brain in the world to be like me. Does that sound really terrible? Because some people are so dead against that, I tell you. They're like, everyone's different. I don't want them to be different. I want them all to be the same. Or can we just all be the same of something? Like, if you want me to become evil, you know, then make me that way. Like, just put a button so then I could be like you, because I don't want this contradiction. It's so difficult. It makes me cry all the time. I hate it. I'm in therapy all the time, talking to my professional mother. She's become like a mother in the 6 weeks that I've been seeing her. And she's really caring for me. And I just keep telling her all these things that are just like, why are people like so evil and so... But I don't think they're aware of it. And if they are, I don't think they want to be evil. And if they want to be evil, they can go and suck, even though that is pleasurable. So anyways, I don't want to damn them to anything. I just want them to leave me alone. Off. Alright, anyways, the title of today's video is abusive. No, it's abuse in relationships. Now, I've come suited for this one because I want to feel like a lawyer today. I want to give you some advice. I want to tell you my experience with abuse. It's not going to be pretty. And I want to help you like a lawyer. So I came suited today. Okay, I just gave you a total excuse as to why I've got a suit on. And to be honest, I just wanted to put the suit on. But I think it's suited for the conversation. Because abuse is very serious. And also, it needs attention because we cannot be going around. Okay, let me not finish that sentence and let me just get on with it. But I know this is a sensitive subject, and basically what I want to do with this video is what I want to do is provide healing and inspiration so you could change any abuse that you might be going through or experiencing or giving to others. So the reason why I'm doing this video is because I was on Netflix and something came up as a suggested series, and I started watching it and I couldn't finish it. I still haven't finished it because like it just really me off. Like, this guy, she was in a marriage and then like this like secret detective comes up to her, but then before that happens, like her husband like attacks her and beats her up because she embarrassed him during the dinner time. And I was infuriated by that. Because who's gonna let you beat me up? Okay, like I said, this is such a sensitive subject, so I'm going to come from my brain, and I want you to bear with me because I don't want to make you feel weak. I don't want to make you feel stupid. I don't want you to be like angry at me because like I'm saying all these things. So then I did say to my son, funny enough, I said to him like, do you think I'm gonna like lay on the floor like, you're hitting me while you're hitting me, breaking my teeth? Like, are you mad? You think I'm going to lay there and take it? I think one of us is gonna die that night if you ever put your hands on me, right? Anyways, and my son says something interesting to me, which I think a lot of people will be screaming at me if they're watching my video. That you never know how you're gonna react, my son said. You never know how like shocked you are when somebody like beats you up. Fair enough, if they like punch you and then walk away, then fair enough, you could just be like flabbergasted. Is that a word? Yes, that is a word. And you could be shocked, right? But if they're like bang, 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 bang. Oh no. But to be honest, they could have worked up to that point, couldn't they? They like, the first time it was like a bang, and then the second time it was a bang bang, and then like you start to adjust to the bangs bangs bangs, and then finally it's a bang 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 bang, and you're just so flabbergasted. But to be honest with you, like that, I think I'm a little bit psychotic, and I think that if a man ever bang bang, like fair enough, bang, oh my gosh, what just happened? But if you bang bang the second time, actually, if you bang bang the second time and I've forgiven you for the first time, I just would just like disappear. You'll never find me again, because I'll be like, okay, well that just didn't work, did it? He banged this time and I'm going to leave now. Anyways, right, so I want to get into this conversation because I know it's a very tricky subject, so let's get on with the subject. So I know that I just went on about physical abuse there for a second, because that's like the most dangerous type, the most heartbreaking type, the one where people are really scared for their lives and they don't know how to get out of it. But I also want to introduce a spectrum of abuse, because I was thinking about how neglect is actually a form of abuse, and though it doesn't look like it because it has its own word, neglect, I think that neglect and non-care is a form of abuse from life, because life has dropped you, it has stopped caring for you, it hasn't taken care of you, it's neglected you. So I feel like that's a form of abuse. So I feel like abuse does go all the way from neglect and neglect of care, all the way to the beating up and the killing of somebody while you're beating them up. There's a massive spectrum there of abuse, and in the middle you find emotional abuse and mental abuse, which we're going to talk about. But the reason why I wanted to include neglect in this like spectrum is because I feel like everybody deserves to be cared for. And I'm going through something right now with my family where like I've just had enough, and I'm just like putting up a fuss and I'm putting up a fight. And I was thinking about it, like if I asked these people, if there was an example of like the most caring person, like this like loving caring person, and like picture that thing like of this perfect mother with this like little child, and she loves the child so much, she gives the child everything, all the support, all the love, all the physical affection, all the words of affection, all the feelings of affection of like, oh my gosh, I love you so much, and oh my gosh, I love you, and you feel it, right? Do you guys treat me that way? No, right? I think it's very obvious that we don't treat each other that way, of this loving and in this care. And I feel like that's what we deserve, and we don't give that to each other, nor do we want to. And I feel like some of us want to, like, yeah, if I wasn't embarrassed or if I wasn't scared, then yes, I would want to. But there's actually sometimes you don't want to, like you feel like, I don't want to touch you, or I don't want to care for you. So, but I feel like we all deserve that mothering care of like being cared for and being loved and being cherished. It's like the mother cherishes the child, and I feel like it's abuse to not receive that. I really do. And yes, it's accidental, which we're going to get into, but we all deserve to be cherished and loved and cared for in that exact way that I just described. So my friend said to me, I had a friend once, she was like my friend, and she said to me, Nayna, you're abusive. And I couldn't understand what she meant. Like, what? Because I have standards, I want standards. And the thing is, I think she related to my boyfriend at the time more than she related to me, because me, I want all information, I want to know everything, and if you're not perfect, I want you to get out of here, and if you don't get out of here, I'm going to tell you how awful you are until you get out, right? And my friend calls this abuse, and the ex that she's talking about, he also calls it abuse. And until this day, I always bring him up because he's the only person that hates me, I swear, in this world, that he's like, you abused me. And it's like, okay, I'm so sorry about that. But if you're messaging girls and you're voice noting girls and you're using your sexy voice to talk to them, like, yeah, and I'm like chilling, like, and then I have a problem with that, and then like I break up with you because of that, and then I want to go through your phone because of that, and you call that abuse, like, huh? Anyways, he would not listen to any of these explanations. I did a song about him, and I said in the song, like, it's so funny that I'm the monster in your story, but my phone is filled with your abuse. My phone is filled with your name calling, and I'm the one that's like abusive and narcissistic. But my phone is filled with your hatred, and your phone is not filled with my hatred. Anyways, but my friend called this mental abuse because she says that people deserve to have their own privacy, their own life, and if I'm expecting people to be so perfect, and I'm like threatening to break up with them if they're not the way that I want them to be. She calls this mental abuse, right? Which I still cannot even agree with that, right? But it leads me to the point that we have different perspectives of what abuse is, of what we think is right. And if we're hurt enough, we're going to damn the people who are not giving us what we want. And if they're trying and they can never live up to your expectations, and you keep damning them because they're not living up to your expectations, I could see why that would be called abuse, because you keep trying to force somebody to be something that you want them to be, and they cannot, and they keep trying, and you keep damning them because they cannot be what you want them to be, yet you stick around, this is what I didn't do. I didn't stick around. That's why I said to him that how can I be abusive if I let you go? I would have kept you and tried to force you to be, but I didn't. I let you go. I told you goodbye, and that made you angry. Anyways, oh my gosh, I'm just ranting here because this guy has really irritated me throughout the years. He just would not drop this abusive word. Anyway, and we're lost in our own mazes of what we expect and what we want and what we desire. And because I'm in therapy right now, I really understand that what we're doing when we're trying to force people to fit our needs is that we're trying to prove something to our child self, the one who was actually abused, the one who was neglected. We're trying to prove that we're good enough for love and we're good enough for this. So then we force the adults around us that are not our family to give us what we were missing all along. And it hurts us to admit that even these people are not capable of giving us the love that we need and we deserve. So then we start to force them, and we start to mentally abuse them, even though we're not doing that, because all we're trying to do is trying to prove that we are worthy of love, and they're not showing us that because they don't have the tools to show us that, and we're trying to force them to show us that. Anyway, so this is how the game works of mentally abusing somebody. And I know that there are people who are, because everything I just said is this like innocent accidental thing of like, I don't mean to do this, but I am broken inside and I'm trying to fix myself by forcing you to fix me, or forcing you to prove that I'm worthy of love. So all of this is quite innocent in my brain, but I know that there's people out there who do it on purpose. But are those people even more broken than I am, and that's why they're doing it on purpose? I do it by accident, you do it on purpose. Does that mean that you were more abused in your childhood than I was? Did you feel more neglect in your childhood than I did? And is that why you're doing it on purpose? Mentally playing games with people, not caring about them because of how much you were not cared for. And so then there's a dial in the abuse that you give people. You know, one is where you completely are unaware that you're doing it. You don't even know. When somebody says to you, oh, you're abusive, you're like, what? No, I'm not. You're completely unaware. And then dial it to 100 where you're completely aware, and either you're denying it to yourself that you're doing it even though you know you're doing it, or you're just denying it to other people but you know within yourself that you're doing it, which actually leads to the different types of abuse. So let's quickly cover them. So emotional abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, and the neglect that I was talking about, which actually can connect to the emotional abuse, right? So emotional abuse looks like somebody who neglects your feelings, and they neglect them. I don't know if I should use different words here. They don't care about how you feel. They ignore how you feel. If you tell them how you feel, they mock how you feel. They take the out of how you feel. They degrade how you feel. So you keep going out with your friends all the time, and I'm jealous about that and I don't like it. And then they're like, God, you're such a jealous person. I'm allowed to have friends, you know. You know that's not good that you're trying to control me. Or another one would be, we're having dinner with your friends and I feel really uncomfortable being around them. Oh, come on, like you're supposed to be a good girlfriend. Like you're supposed to be supportive. Like why can't you just like come with me and just sit there? Like it's not a hard thing, you know. Like you're just like so sensitive all the time. So it's basically they make excuses as to how you feel. They don't accept how you feel, and they tell you that you're wrong for feeling the way you feel. This is emotional abuse, because the kind thing to do and the nice thing to do and the right thing to do in my brain is to acknowledge how somebody feels, see if you're doing something wrong to make them feel that way, and then try to change the situation to support them and how they feel. And if you can't, then that means then that you're not compatible, which means then that you have to go your separate ways, which I wanted to get to later on in this video. But for example, with my son, if he tells me that something is making him uncomfortable, I'm not going to sit there and mock the way he feels and try to degrade it and try to tell him that he's wrong for feeling the way he feels. Because I care for him and I'm his mum and I love him, I'm going to try to make this better for him. So you don't want to go outside. Okay, what can we do about that? I'm not going to force you and tell you that you're weak for not wanting to go outside. What can we do about that? Do you like to go out at night? Can we get something in the house? Or can we fix something in your brain? I'm not going to mock you for not wanting to go outside. we're going to try to fix this together, and I'm definitely not going to force you to go outside. The worst thing was when my dad used to force me to eat food I didn't want to eat. I've never done that to my son. Okay, you don't want to eat this? Okay, what can we do about it? What else can you eat? I'm really not the type of parent to force children to eat what they don't want to eat, and it actually infuriates me when I see parents do that. But I know we're in hard situations. We don't have money to waste, and if you're not going to eat this, you can't eat nothing at all. I don't have that mentality, but I know how hard it gets in life, so I understand. So mental abuse looks like when you play games with somebody's mind. Again, you could be doing this out of fear, so you're not doing it on purpose, you're just doing it to protect yourself, or you could be doing it on purpose because you're trying to have what you want without the person knowing about it. So basically, if you're cheating on somebody and they're asking you direct questions and you're lying to them, this is mental abuse. If somebody says, oh, but I saw you do this and I saw you do that, and you know that what they're saying is correct, and you tell them that they are not correct, this is mental abuse. And the correct thing to do is to be honest, is to be transparent, is to not mock people's brains. So if you manage to get 2 + 2 = 4, well done. I'm not gonna deceive your brain to make you believe that you're stupid, because well done, you got it right. So I'm gonna tell you, you got it right. And that's the kind thing to do. Like, well done, your brain is clever. Instead, I'm gonna like lie to you and I'm gonna tell you, no, 2 + 2 is not 4. And then the person's gonna sit there all confused, like, what? But I swear it was 2 and 2. I swear. No, it wasn't. Oh. I don't know why we do that. I find that this is the most disrespectful out of all of them. Out of all of the abuses, mental abuse is the one that gets me most angry. I don't know why it's the most disrespectful, because you don't mind making me feel like I'm stupid. You don't mind making me, my brain, you don't care about my brain. You don't care about my brain. You're not like, well done, you know, like a mother again with a child, where it's like, I see you, you're clever, well done, and I'm gonna tell you. No, you're not doing that. You're not caring for my brain. You're telling my brain that it's wrong even though it's right. No, I don't like that. But yeah, mental abuse looks like manipulation, playing of the brain, not answering questions. You know when somebody asks you a question and then you just don't answer them? Or you know when like somebody asks you like 3 questions and you only answer 1 question? I feel like this is all mental abuse. But I did ask my son about, like, why do men do that? Like, a lot of men do that. You ask them 3 questions and they only answer 1 question. And I really was, because my son is like innocent and we talk, and he reckons that a lot of them don't do it on purpose. Like, they don't sit there like, I know you asked me 3 questions, but I'm only going to answer 1 of them because I don't want to answer the other 2. Like, no, that's not what their thought process is. But that's what mental abuse looks like. I know you asked me 3 questions. I'm only going to answer 1 of them. I'm going to ignore the other 2. It's mental abuse. Because the kind thing to do is to answer all 3 of them. I know you asked me 3 questions, I'm gonna answer all 3 of them. And then physical abuse. Now this is the one that I have like most sympathy for, and I know this is so bad of me, but I do think that if you have done any of these 3 abuses, you're going to sympathize with somebody who's done them. And I think that that's why we sympathize with things. If we've done it ourselves, we know how it feels like, and so then you sympathize with them. And because I've never mentally abused somebody or emotionally abused somebody on purpose anyway, because I've never done those 2, then I don't want to sympathize with them because I don't like it. But because I have put my hands on somebody before, over and over, but I know it's the worst out of all of them for some people because it could lead to like life or death, and it's the one that I sympathize with the most. Like, oh, let's talk about this, right? Because this is the one that people are actually scared to leave. This is the one where people are actually like scared for their lives. And this is the one where I'm just like, yeah, try me. You're gonna hit me, I'm going to not sit there and let you hit me. Nope. No, I'm not gonna do that. Absolutely not. And to be honest with you, because I'm a bit of an alpha, if I saw like early on that somebody had like a tendency to come at me in an aggressive way that will put me off, I'll be like, we're not gonna be together, because I'm an alpha. I'm not somebody who like backs down to like power. I'm just like, okay, I'm bigger than you. It's just a bit of a toxic trait that I have. Where it's like, you're not bigger than me. Stop trying to be bigger than me. So then if a guy came with this type of like aggression, like I own you, because I feel like that maybe that's the first trait of somebody who can be abusive, is like that they try to own you. And maybe this is the dial of 100 that I was talking about, where it's like you're doing it on purpose, this is your natural character. Whereas the abuse that I gave to somebody, it was more on the one side where it was like accidental, and it was just like this anger I think it's because I was with a narcissistic person, and the anger in me like just took over a lot of the time because they were playing mental games with me and I didn't know it. But I try to tune into people who like use their fists to speak, right? And especially like if you're using it against your partner, and I feel that they feel disrespected. They feel like you're taking a piss out of them. And maybe that's what it is. And even the guy that is at 100, maybe he feels disrespected. Maybe he feels like he needs to control you before you disrespect him. And disrespect looks like you're doing something with the mental abuse. You're doing something that he doesn't know, or you're trying to play his mind, or you're not honest, you're not innocent, you're trying to play his mind, you're making him a fool, so he has to put you in your place, so then you're scared to make him a fool, and then if you step out of place, that makes him angry, like, oh, you're disrespecting me, and then he gets abusive, right? And the doubt of the man who's at 100, he probably agrees that this is the way that it's supposed to be, whereas me, I don't agree with it. I did, like I said, I was doing it by accident. So I was in a relationship where I felt like he was mocking me, and he started to mock me, and so then I would attack him for it. I'm trying to give you an example, like for example, oh yeah, of course, I love you, and then turns his head like, yeah, right, do I love her? And he's like, what? Are you trying to disrespect me? Because you're lying to my face, but then you're doing that in my face, like, and it was more like that. But again, all of this comes from hurt of something that has happened to you, that you feel that you're not loved, you feel that you're not cared for, that you're not safe, and either you control people with your mental games, or you control them with your physical anger of like, I'm going to hurt you because you're hurting me. But people who are stuck in long-term abusive relationships, like physical beating up, people who are stuck in them for years and years and years, to be honest, I feel like they're just like stuck in a loop, because you're trying to make sure, as the abuser, you're trying to make sure that usually she follows, because it's usually her that gets abused, so I'm just gonna go with that, but you're making sure that she follows your rules and she's in line with your rules, so she can't step out of line. And naturally, all humans, they want to flourish in their own way, so then they accidentally naturally take a left instead of a right, because they're meant to just be adventurous, and maybe she did it by accident one day, and then you saw her step out of line because you want her to be this thing that makes you feel loved, and then she took a left instead of a right, and then now you're just like attacking her for it because you are trying to force her to be something that you need to love you, and you think that she's did it on purpose, like she's took a left on purpose, and you're trying to disrespect me because you're not being honest, and really it was accidental, because humans are meant to just go left or right at any given time. And so then it results in this, where you think people are doing things on purpose and they're not, and sometimes they are, and you feel disrespected and you want to hurt them for it because you don't have proof that somebody loves you. You don't have proof that you are cared for, and it either makes you angry or it makes you manipulate people into giving you what you want, which is love, attention, to prove that I'm right. I deserve love. I deserve to be treated nicely. I deserve for people to be honest with me. And if you're not honest with me, that makes me angry because I deserve honesty. And guess what? Somebody who's scared, the last thing they're gonna do is be honest with you 100% of the time, even though they pretend to the death that they are honest with you 100% of the time, because they're scared. And people who are scared are not honest because they're scared. So I don't know what fear's about. I don't know why people are scared. I've learned to like sit still in my fear. So if a man was coming towards me with a fist, I feel like I will slow that down, and I'll pay attention to his eyes and his face, and I'll see this like teddy bear trying to be aggressive, and it's like, and it's almost like I can giggle at it, like, what are you doing? All this anger, what are you doing? And then I'll be like Neo and like move out of the way, like, stop it, what are you doing? But we take those moments so serious, like, oh, I'm going to hit you and I am a monster. And it's like, you're not a monster though, you're just like lost, screaming for love, screaming because you feel disrespected. Anyways, let me close this video. Gosh, I've gone on for such a long time. Let me conclude this video. We have to let people go. We have to free them. If you're the abuser, you have to let them go, because people are not your dollies. People are not your toys. They're not yours. They're not yours. You can't just like take all of the items and put them in your house and like they're mine, because all of the items belong to themselves. So you can't force people to be yours. And if they can't give you what you need, you have to let them go. And if you can't give them what they need, you have to let them go. And if somebody has got to the point where they're abusing you, you have to let them go, because those cycles, those patterns, they're so hard, especially if you don't have outside help. They're so hard to break, and the easiest way to break them is to leave them, start a new cycle somewhere else with somebody else. And the hard way to do it is to stay, but then you really do need outside help. You need outside eyes, you need professional brains, professional people who understand things, and you need them to come into your relationship, take over your relationship, and then you guys can try to work. But once they leave, you're left with all these old cycles again. And I don't know, if somebody gets to a point where they want to hit you and they want to abuse you, like, I don't know if you guys are compatible. I don't know if you are, unless you grow, unless both of you grow. Because what I want to conclude here is, like, why am I so different? My mum said to me one time, because I'm going through this autism testing at the moment to basically say that I'm autistic, and my mum had to answer a question, and I didn't really like her answer, but she said, like, yeah, right, Nayna getting bullied, she'll be the one who does the bullying. And actually, when I came to this country, I was bullied. I was very scared and I was bullied. So she got that one wrong. But there's this, like, vision of me that I'm just really not a pushover, right? And where does this power come from? Like, if a man tried to abuse me, no thanks. And why is it that some people are like, oh, okay, oh, why are they so much more delicate than me? And I swear I'm so sensitive. I swear I'm so sensitive. So why is it that I'm not, like, the type to allow somebody to just hit me? Why don't I have that fear in me? Like, oh, I am smaller than you. Like, no, I ain't smaller than you. You ain't bigger than me. Why do I have that inside of me? Is it anger? Or is it like a broken fuse in my brain? Which then, no, because and then I'm trying to say basically that women are supposed to be smaller than men, and I don't think they are. And maybe this is just an imbalance in the world that I'm here to fix, because, like, I am not smaller than a man. I don't mind being equal to a man. I don't have to be bigger than a man, but I'm not smaller than a man. And yes, I know that they come, like, bigger in size and they come bigger in strength, because that's just annoying that you can just, like, pin me down if you wanted to. But once I'm free, I will not be scared to come and hit you in the head with a big fat something. Oh no. I'm so sorry, I know this is really not funny, right? But typical me to make humor out of these things. And maybe it's just the idea, because I've been so independent and so, like, not interested in being somebody's, like, wife or somebody's, like, girlfriend. Like, what I'm interested in is, like, the stars and, I don't know, sex. I don't know, I'm not interested in, like, partnering up with somebody, right? And just... So maybe then that it's just education. Like, you're not smaller. I'm sorry that you have a smaller body and you have, like, less, like, strength than them, but you're not smaller. You could have, like, a bigger brain if you wanted to, which some of us do. Have a bigger brain, so then you're not smaller than anybody, because really it's about what you think in your brain, and you have the right to be whoever you want to be and to be safe. I don't know why I was born like this. But anyways, we have to heal the abusers. We can't just condemn them for being bad. We have to heal them. They're broken. 100% they're broken. We need to heal them. And actually, we need to heal the whole world. And that's why we abuse each other, because, like, the whole world needs healing. And then we have to heal all the people that have been abused, because then we don't want to look at the whole world with these, like, tainted eyes that everybody's just evil and just abusers, when really everyone's just broken and they deal with it in all these ways. And some of them have become abusive because they are broken. And some people have become introverts because they are broken. And some people have died because they are broken. And there's a lot of brokenness everywhere, and we all deal with it in different ways, and we have to just heal the brokenness. And we do that by trying the better way, trying the nicer way. What's the nicer way? Let's do that. What's the best way here? Let's do that. What's best for everybody? Let's do that. Let's ask everybody, what do you want? Let's do that. Instead of me being selfish and I decide for myself and only myself, and then I force you to be what I want. Let's not do that. Let's be kind to all things and all people, and then let's do that. And then we're gonna fix all the broken pieces, because people are neglected out here and they're not got good role models to teach them how to be great parents, how to be great loving family members. Nobody has this education, and instead they have DNAs full of, like, jealousy and hate, and we have to fix all of that by giving them examples, by giving them words. And then we fix all the brokenness, and then we'll stop all the abuse from happening in the first place. So you have reached my quote of the week section. Stay away from people who can't take responsibility for their actions and who make you feel bad for being angry at them when they do you wrong. I chose this one not because I agree with it, but because I wanted to have a quick talk about it. Because like I've just spoken about, I don't think people should be abandoned at all. So I don't think that you should stay away from people, even though technically that's a bit correct, because if they're hitting you, you should stay away from them. If they're mentally abusing you, you should stay away from them, right? But those people need help, and sometimes walking away is the best thing you can do for yourself and for that person, because who wants to be abusive? Like, nobody. So if you forced yourself away and you force them to be alone, that's actually helping them, because now they're not going to be abusive anymore unless they find another person. But they need help. Everybody needs help, and the best thing you could do is walk away if somebody is abusing you. So I agree with it, with this statement, but I also think it's a bit sad because people need help. But you don't need to be nobody's punching bag, so do not be nobody's punching bag, okay? So you deserve to be free and at peace and to love yourself, and both sides, they deserve to be set free, and you should set yourself free and you should set people free, because you deserve to be at peace. And if you're hitting somebody, you're not at peace. It does not feel good to like hit somebody. I swear you feel like a monster. So it's not good to feel that way. But when you lie to somebody to like cover up the fact that you cheated and you're a cheater, like, I swear that feels like venom inside of yourself. So why do you live that way? And maybe it's because you think that venom is normal, like this is how life feels like, and really you've not tasted or felt what it feels like to be pure and honest. And it feels so clean, it feels so light, it feels so like, and you don't feel like that when you lie to somebody, when you manipulate them in their brains. It's like there's always this like tingling of like venom going through you. I swear there is, like, because I swear, like, when I've lied in my past, like, it doesn't feel good. So do you even feel good for being a liar or for being a puncher? I don't think it feels good. So set yourself free, and you deserve to be free. You deserve to be light and honest and non-fearful and courageous about your honesty and yourself. And you don't need to lie, you don't need to punch. And if you're lying and punching, set that person free and be alone, or get some help. And I know that help is not really available, but it is, and we have to fight for it. We have to fight for the help. We have to fight to be the help. And this world is just needs to change, and I'm gonna say that every week for the rest of my life. Like, it just needs to change. The authoritative people make bad decisions. They're selfish, bad decisions, and they need to not be in power. And people like me need to be in power. Okay, I've said it. So until next time. My friend has made an appearance this week, even though I've hardly played with him. He was just like sitting there for ages. I shall see you next time, and please be nice. Okay, bye.